Still getting used to this thing. Okay, everybody. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you could join me today. This is Kids Farm Preschool. My name is Mrs. J, and I'm the teacher for this class. I can't wait to learn with you today. Today's subject is science. The unit is types of animals, and the lesson is going to be about mammals. Specifically, like I've been telling you, a rule breaker mammal. Alright? Now, I really am excited. Welcome, preschoolers and family members. How are you feeling today? I want to know how you are feeling. I am feeling super excited and a little bit silly because of today's lesson. I just want to tell you, let me get my notes actually. I just want to tell you before I get into anything that while I was looking up information for today's lesson, I learned so much fun stuff. Okay, guys? So I really just want to get into it because I'm excited. Today's sign of the day is house. So I'm going to put down my mic real quick. I'll put it in my fingers so that I can sign house. So roof, walls, house. And just like yesterday's sign of the day, it's not an emotional sign, but depending on what you're trying to tell somebody, you might put body language and emotion into it. But the sign itself, house, that's what it is. Okay, let's sing our welcome song. Welcome, welcome everyone. Now we're here, let's have some fun. First we'll clap our hands like so. Then we'll reach and touch our nose. Welcome, welcome everyone. Now you're here, let's have some fun. Welcome, welcome my friend Seth. Now you're here, let's have some fun. Welcome, welcome my friend Iskander. Now you're here, let's have some fun. Welcome, welcome my friend Adeline. Now you're here, let's have some fun. Now that we sang our welcome song, let's talk about what day it is. Today is, let's go this way, Wednesday. It is the middle of the week. It is the third day of the week. Yesterday was Tuesday and tomorrow will be Thursday. Let's sing our Days of the Week song. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, that did work. I'm going to go ahead and push this over so that you can, actually see, because we're doing calendar right now, so maybe you want to see the calendar. Okay. Let's sing the Days of the Week song. Days of the week, 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 days of the week. There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, and then there's Saturday. Days of the week, 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 days of the week. There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, and then there's Saturday. Days of the week, 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 days of the week. Now that we know what day of the week it is, let's talk about the month. Today is a brand new month. It's not January anymore. I know you guys have been hearing me say January, January, January every day. Now it's February. Last month was January when we celebrated New Year's. This month is February when we celebrate Valentine's. And next month is March where we celebrate St. Patrick's Day and the beginning of spring. Winter is almost gone, guys. It's almost spring. Now that, sorry. If you have a birthday in February, let me know in the comments below so I can say happy birthday. Do you celebrate any of the holidays for January, February, or March? If you do, go ahead and let me know how you celebrate those holidays. Let's sing the months of the year song. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. These are the months of the year. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. These are the months of the year. The next thing we need to know is what day of the month it is. Most months have 30 or 31 days. February has 28 days, except every fourth year, which is a leap year, and that gets an extra day, so 29. But most years, February has 28. Today is number 1. It's the first day of the month. Let's count to 1 together. 1. That was very quick, wasn't it? The last thing we need to know is the year. Now we are in 2023 right now. Last year was 2022, and next year is 2024. Now we know everything we need to figure out the date. Today is Wednesday, February 1st, 2023. Okay, what season is it, guys? It is still winter. It's going to be winter until almost the end of next month. March 20th or 21st is spring equinox, and that's when spring happens. So last season was fall or autumn. Next season is spring. And I can tell you, I am ready for spring. Not because it was cold, because it wasn't cold, but it was too cold to grow things. If it was warm enough to grow things, that would have been fine. But because we could never count on there being a long enough period without frost, I couldn't grow anything. So I'm excited for frost to be done. It's basically what I'm saying. Okay, on to our lesson. Let me get my remote. I stuck my remote up here so I wouldn't lose it because Jamie keeps grabbing it. And she cannot reach this side. Okay, let's go over here. And I am going to go down a little bit and zoom in as far as I can so you guys can really get a good look of this mischief maker over here that wants to break the rules. Okay. I have been teasing you since Monday about this little fella. This mammal breaks the rules. Now before I tell you about this special animal, let's review what a mammal is. I have it on the board here, and I also have my notes. So on the top one here, you can see number 1. A mammal is an animal that gives birth to live babies instead of eggs. Number 2, a mammal makes milk for its babies. Number 3, a mammal has fur or hair. Number 4, a mammal breathes air with lungs. Number 5, a mammal is warm-blooded. Number 6, a mammal mostly lives on land. Now, let's talk about this rule-breaking troublemaker. The animal I'm talking about is the platypus. 1 is a platypus, 2 is platypi. Now, if you look online, it'll say platypus plural or platypuses, but if you want to be technically correct, it's platypi. And I like being correct, so I'm going to say platypi. So here's my picture of a platypus. You can see it's a weird looking creature. It's got the body of an otter, It's got the tail of a beaver and the bill of a duck, and it has webbed feet. I'll talk more about those later. So altogether, it kind of just acts like a little bit of everybody, doesn't it? All right. Let's compare them to animals, and then I'm going to tell you some other crazy things I learned about them while I was researching. So if you can see here, this is what I'm reading off my notes. Number 1, they lay eggs instead of live babies. Normally that would make them not a mammal, but these are a special kind of mammal that can lay eggs. Another kind of mammal that can lay eggs is called the echidna, or spiny anteater. Number 2, they make milk for their babies. Yes, mammals make milk for their babies. They have fur. Mammals have fur. Platypi have lungs to breathe air. So do mammals. Platypi are warm-blooded. So are mammals. And platypi live on land. So are mammals. I would like to point out that platypi are technically amphibians like frogs and turtles, which means that even though they live on land, they spend most of their time in the water. Platypi make burrows like rabbits or like foxes. So they will live mostly in lakes, near lakes or rivers, and they will make a little hole on the riverbank for them to live in. And then when they get hungry or whatever, they'll come out of their burrow and then they'll go explore. Usually what they'll do is they'll stay at the bottom of the lake or the river, and they kind of eat the algae and the small things on the bottom. Okay. So, because of what we see here, we can say that we know a platypus. Platypi are egg-laying mammals. Like I said, the only other known mammal to lay eggs are echidnas. Now let's talk about how weird these platypi are. While it's true that they make milk for their babies, they have a special way of feeding those babies. Most mammals have teats, which are also called nipples, that babies suck the milk from. Platypi, however, don't have teats. Instead, the milk oozes out of their skin and collects in the wrinkles and fur, where the babies can lap or slurp it up. Platypi are nocturnal, which means that they sleep during the day and are awake at night. They also cover their eyes, nose, and ears when they swim. You might be wondering how they can swim if they can't see, but they have that figured out too. They have special sensors in their bills which give them information about the underwater world around them. Last but not least, when on land, their webbed feet can retract to reveal claws that help them walk. What an interesting creature. I hope you had as much fun as I did learning about these weirdly awesome animals called platypi. Now, I'm over here looking at my timer and I realize it's only been less than 15 minutes. And I thought my day was a little bit short, but I didn't realize it was that short. I'm sorry, everyone. I thought it would take me a lot longer to talk about platypi, but I'm going to go ahead and end the lesson here. Did anybody have any questions about the lesson? If you do, feel free to write them in the comments below, or you can email me through the link in the description box below. If you want more content or the opportunity to talk directly with me on a video call, please subscribe to my Patreon account. You can also follow me on YouTube. The original video is here on Facebook, but I also have it posted to YouTube. Let's go ahead and do our deep breathing. We'll take our 5 big deep breaths. Breathe in. Let all those feelings of stress or upsetness, think about them for just a second and then breathe them out of your body. Don't let them be there anymore. Okay, that was 1. Breathe in. Breathe out. That was 2. Breathe in. Breathe out. That was 3. Breathe in. Breathe out. That's 4. Breathe in. Breathe out. That was 5. Now, I just realized why my lesson was so short. Because because I totally forgot to do all of the weather and temperature stuff and dress Mr. Bear. I apologize for that. I'll go over it really quick. It is cold today. It is not mild, it is cold, but it's also not freezing. It's windy and rainy. And the wind is really why it feels cold and not mild, because it is 50 or 60 degrees. When I went out earlier, I had this jacket on. It's a very light jacket, but it's got long sleeves, which kept me warm. If I were to dress Mr. Bear, I would either dress him in his rain outfit or his fall outfit. And that's all I have for today. I'm so glad that all of you were able to join me today. I had so much fun. I can't wait to see everyone next time at Kids Farm Preschool. Bye-bye.